Please excuse my recent absence. I've been having a lovely little breakdown. No, really. But nothing breaks me out of the malaise like having Tories to roast. Bet you'd forgotten about her, hadn't you? The woman that I refer to as a total Lynn from HR, aka Pork Markets, aka the Mad Waxwork, aka the woman that always looks like a cardboard cutout in every single photo. I'll do a very quick backstory. Cast your mind back to July 2022. Johnson, aka Fred Westminster, was involved in a brief siege before being ousted for promoting one too many perverts, and also for the lies that he told about number 10 turning into the hacienda during lockdown. So they needed to find a replacement, and despite him leaving in scandal, they didn't hold an election, no. They gave the Conservative Party members, aka the worst people in the world, the option to choose a Prime Minister out of a legion of rejects. It was essentially a posh Tory raffle. And they chose Pork Markets. Despite her making it very clear that she would destroy the economy beforehand, Sunak tried to tell everyone, to his credit, the only credit that I'll ever give the man. But the members went with Liz Truss because they couldn't choose Sunak, no, because according to them, he was too brown. Now, in 26 days of her 45-day term, she managed to cost the UK markets 500 billion, tank the pound, helped give Labour a 33-point lead, and finally, snuff the Queen. Rumours persist about Liz Truss. I say rumours persist, I'm never letting it go. About her and old Cami Kwasi reportedly being in cahoots with hedge fund managers prior to tanking the economy. Why does that matter? Because the hedge fund managers profited from the pound crashing. One of the guys that's reported to have profited is that fella, Andrew Law. An anonymous source spoke to the Times and said they'd attended a dinner with hedge fund managers who were said to have made loads of money from betting against the pound the same week as the mini budget. They were all supporters of Truss, and every one of them was shorting the pound. This guy hosted the champagne party after they'd done the damage, and at least 2 hedge fund bosses at that champagne party were said to have called the Chancellor a useful idiot. Was this investigated? Does the Pope shit in the woods? No, is the answer to that question. Is it illegal if there was collusion? Absolutely. Now, I'm no royalist, but I think the Queen saw this coming and, like a hamster, just chose to die. Maybe at this point she thought, you know what, I've seen it all. I'd rather die now than endure that mad bitch. Anyway, backstory over. The reason I'm talking to you today is because new revelations are afoot. Oh yeah. I'm pretty desensitised to this kind of stuff. You know, I endured 4 years of daily immersion in every Tory scandal, every Tory crime and horror. I spent those 4 years looking like Edvard Munch's The Scream, when I had a really low opinion of them, to put it bloody mildly, and I didn't think they'd do Partygate, you know. So nothing surprises me. But what's being reported about her is one of the worst and craziest things that I've ever heard of a Prime Minister, can't even call her that, ever. And there has been a revolving door of them. It's been like a wheel of misfortune. But this takes the biscuit. Political biographer Anthony Seldon has written a book, bitchily titled, yet completely accurately titled, Truss at Number 10, How Not to Be a Prime Minister. It's basically a 330-page long rinsing of Truss, which, considering she's not going to prison, is the least that she deserves. Now, you've got to hand it to the lad. You know, the tidbits that are coming out are making people want to buy the book, so they can see what the hell was going on in number 10 during those 45 days. We all know what was going on in her head, mostly the magic roundabout theme on loop. One of the excerpts that have been released covers the time just after the mini-budget, the disastrous mini-budget, reason why a lot of people lost their houses and pensions. She calls in her policy director, Jamie Hope, aptly named, you know, going full thick of it, quiet bat people territory. And her economic advisor, which at this point should have been embarrassed to have the title. They go into the room and start discussing how the cut she's contemplating can't be delivered. Up popped a fella called Alex Boyd, right? Who was reportedly told that Truss and Kwarteng were proposing severe cuts, but this went one step beyond usual Tory austerity, because it's reported that one of the things that she was going to cut was cancer care on the NHS. Holy mother of fuck. Special Advisor Boyd said she's lost the plot. Did she ever have one, besides, boning the economy dry on behalf of hedge funders, reportedly, allegedly? Apparently old Lynn from HR there was shouting, "We've got to find the money." Should have called those hedge funders. They did well. Because patriotism. A spokesperson for Truss has said it's completely untrue that she ever considered it. Don't believe you. Kwasi Kwarteng's thrown her under the bus too. Makes a change from all those rumours that he banged her over a table. If that leaked whips list is anything to go by. I will add the disclaimer that it's never been proven, although the thought of it makes my fanny slam shut harder than Arkwright's till. Anyway, Kwasi Kwarteng, who was Chancellor at the time, said, "I wasn't involved in any conversations about restricting healthcare, but that doesn't mean the Prime Minister and her team didn't discuss this." Nice backpedalling, mate, except, you were Chancellor and one of the weirdest people ever born. As the most inappropriate giggler since Dr. Hibbert from The Simpsons, Kwarteng proceeded to loll his way through the Queen's funeral. I can't stand the royal family, but I don't think even I'd do that. Anyway, in the end, her advisors wrote a memo to the Treasury which helped provide evidence for her ousting, as if it wasn't obvious enough in the 500 billion black hole. Then up pops Slim Brady, the real Slim Brady, all those other Slim Bradys are just imitating letters of no confidence. Bye pork markets. I'll say the rest is history, but we'll be paying the price of this forever. And then we have the Tories laying into Labour on the economy because they're thick and shameless and corrupt. The worst possible combination. There's another excerpt as well, and it relates to that evil reverse Jarvis Cocker, Jacob Rees-Mogg. It's one of the craziest things that I've ever read. Haunted Wednesday, Rees-Mogg urged Truss to abolish inheritance tax. Of course he did. But the most insane thing was that he wanted to organise a stunt to promote nuclear power. What was the stunt? He wrote to the then Cabinet Minister saying, "We should get a nuclear submarine to dock at Liverpool and plug it into the grid." What? That would show it's safe. The Cabinet Minister at the time, Simon Case, dismissed the idea as a non-starter. No shit. But only because the subs are needed in operations. What the? How were they ever allowed near power? These people were in control of the country. They had the nuclear codes. In his book, Selden said she spectacularly failed on the 8th requirement for a successful premiership, financial and economic competence. I say she failed at coming across as a convincing human being. 7 days after the incidents that I've just told you about, that mad lettuce was finally punted out of the greengrocers. And what's she done recently? I'll tell you what she hasn't done, and that's have the common decency to spend the rest of her life hiding in shame. She's done what most people with an average IQ of 6 do, and that's join MAGA. Yeah, she's gone full Trump America. She lost her seat to Labour, gave a bizarre speech about shower heads in Milwaukee, something about them being shaped like a bell. Well, she'd know all about bellends. Her book was found in the sci-fi and fantasy section of a bookshop. She had her pro-Trump event gatecrashed led by donkeys who unveiled a banner with a lettuce on it saying, "I crashed the economy." The funniest thing about this is the banner was unveiled painfully slowly just after she'd finished quoting Carlin by saying, "It's the economy, stupid." You couldn't write it. Her 3-word response was, "That's not funny." Fucking is. She also accused Kamala Harris of not being up to the job, which is unbelievable. Is she on glue? Myra Hindley would have done a better job of being Prime Minister than her. Now, do you want to know the worst thing about all of this? I mean, there's a lot of things that are bad about it, but do you want to know the worst thing? We are forced to pay that absolute salad £115,000 every year for the rest of her life when she was in position 45 days and in that time destroyed the country. Throw her in prison. It needs to be removed for all prime ministers that aren't elected by the public. Just all prime ministers, actually. Between October 2022 and the 31st of March 2023, she claimed 23 grand of our money. That much support from the state, and the Tories have the cheek to call people on universal credit scroungers. I've really enjoyed this, I missed this. And if you enjoyed it, keep an eye out for my future videos because Parliament is returning shortly and there's another leadership contest afoot. Now this is going to be very important because it's going to let us know what kind of opposition Labour is going to face. If the Tories do go down the Farage reform continuation of what caused them to have a wipeout, not only will the Tories never win again, but it will embolden division. It'll also probably give Labour a second guaranteed term. But it might cause more race riots, you know. Who knows what they will do. But I look forward to documenting it at the Tory party conference, despite the fact that they, every year, without fail, refuse to burn down. Now, some might say more than ever, the Tories.